Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 30 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Hope of the Uchiha clan over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And he also posts a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Josh and Seal inside of him, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, 3 years has passed since the attack on Konoha. The village was now in good standings, as they were currently in a war with the Hidden Stone. As Naruto was gonna end it, as he told Itachi that he should take over. He just need to get into the depths of the village and he could end this once and for all. But Itachi knew what that would put on him, because he would not only be killing the enemy, he would be killing innocent people. But Naruto said that it was either them or his village, and he would pick his village over them anytime. Yume kept on running away from school because she didn't find it all that entertaining, as she went to visit Uncle, as Uncle catch up with her daughter before she had to head off. After all, she still had a stone Kunoichi who was looking at her with dead eyes recently. The girl didn't even move or twitch much recently. Well, after 3 years of Uncle doing her thing, it would put a toll on you. Katsumi was given a mission. As Katsumi was feeling rather down lately, she had moved out of the, well, it was no longer there, seeing that it was destroyed. She was living in a cottage, a bit away from the village that her father once owned. Her father that was killed. As she still couldn't believe it, everything, all of that crime, it was put on her father, and people saw him as a disgrace. But they didn't saw her as that as well, they just pitied her. Her mother ran away from the village, as Naruto branded her a missing nin. As Naruto told Katsumi that his door is always open, she knew that, but she just didn't want to be a hassle for anyone. But things were bad, really bad, as she was going on a dangerous mission now. She saw photos of Naruto in all of the picture frames. Her father really did care about Naruto, and she wanted to know that this mission that she was going to undertake was a rather dangerous mission, and she didn't know if she would come back alive after everything. So she was just weighing her options through it. Meanwhile, Hinata has grown. Over the past 3 years, she has changed, having explored to different genders. And not to mention she woke up with Tewa in her bed. Not to mention there was a child involved. Hinata has done a lot of things over the past 3 years. Today was the day that Orochimaru was going to take her body. But as he stopped her with a curse mark, Hinata smiled because she was planning for this. Yes, she had everything sorted out, as she wouldn't let the snake take over her body. She wanted revenge on Konoha, and most especially Naruto, who betrayed her. Meanwhile, Sasuke, Tenten, Ino, and Neji was in the woods, as they were at the vantage point, not letting any stone ninja get past them. Over the past 3 years, they were trained rigorously, as they were here defending it, as a group of stone ninjas tried to attack them, but they took them out rather swiftly. Also, at the Hidden Rain, as Oniki forces were attacking, as something was wrong, Pain was not here, as he was at Kumo to speak to the Eight Tails, along with the other Jinchurikis, as they were not here. Things were chaotic as damage and destruction rained down in the village, as bombings could be heard. Konan and the others made their way. It was then that Zabuza heard Jinten. From the dust release, his eyes went wide. Sometime later, Naruto was making his way, assisted by Kurenai and Kakashi, as he was going to end this war once and for all. He just needed to make his way towards the Hidden Stone. So yeah guys, it was basically that's where I left off. You guys can switch across and please check out for yourself. So see you in this new episode. Neji, Tenten, Ino, and Sasuke, as Naruto gathered them all together. Team Guy with Katsumi Namikaze, Sakura Haruno, Rock Lee and Shikamaru Nara will reach checkpoint Theta through the Beta Corner. As Kakashi, watch look on their faces. They did try to contain it, but worry, anxiety, guilt, and emotional betrayal start to break through. They have ordered to withdraw if they were overrun, but otherwise, they will hold their ground there. Sensei, you're on the move because of them, said Neji. And you wouldn't send a Chunin team, so you send them. Those 4. You're hoping that they get captured, Sasuke said. No. You're sending them because you're hoping they hold off the enemy. You're using them as bait and distraction. Katsumi is a Tokage's daughter. The stone would want to capture her. Sakura has pink hair, and she's known to work under you. As your medical apprentice, Rock Lee is easily distinguishable. But why Shikamaru, said Ino? He can come up with good plans in a pinch. Should my guy fall, he can take over the chain of command. Out of all of them is Guy Sensei, who's risking the most, right? Said Tenten. After all, the stone would rather capture the Chunins and use them as hostage than capture a Jonin. Precisely, said Naruto. So you send those who have the most chance of survival. That is just playing with hellfire, Sensei, rather than normal fire, said Neji. And you telling us this made us anxious. You're no, Neji, said Naruto. I told you this because I knew if I hadn't, and something happened to one of those that you hold dear, you'd have been far worse off. I am honest above all. I could have sent 4 envoys, but Anki would have crushed them instantly from a distance without breaking a sweat. We understand, Sasuke said. Still, are you gonna end the war, Sensei? So, I didn't get called Sensei once, said Kakashi to himself, but he was actually speaking out loudly. I knew to get it all. I knew I should have taken them young. He paused as they all looked at him. No, I didn't mean that way, he said, as he returned back to his book. The author was dead, but Ichi school, sensuality, had finished. Someone had taken it up and finished it. It depends, said Naruto. Probably it will be a harsh blow on the hidden stone supply lines. Being without a hidden village should do that. Sensei, you're going against the stone alone? Said Neji. The Hokage has a plan involving the Kyuubi. We were briefed of it, but Chunins should not be, said Kunai. Yeah, I'm gonna probably raise it to the ground, said Naruto. 6 tails should be enough, but Q-chan told me that we can push the 7 safely. For the other last 2, I'll have to postpone the bake, said Naruto. The way you minimize the slaughter of children and civilians appall me, said the Kyuubi. Still, they recognized and said not. They must be, hey, have you been reading a dictionary lately, said Naruto. I beseech your query. With a affirmative reply, said the Kyuubi. I liked it when you were asleep, said Naruto. As the 4 Chunins all looked at him. Well, he was powerful. Even the 4th could have done such by using summoning animals, probably Gamabunta and the others. The frogs or toads arrived in his office one day, speaking about a prophecy. A pity that prophecy lost its recipient, given the fact that Jiraiya's students were both dead. Well, we won't be keeping you here, Naruto-sensei, said Sasuke. Well then, I guess we'll be celebrating the war ending soon then, said Neji, as he gave his sensei a firm nod. Oh right, said Tenten. We have to go then. It's a pleasure seeing you, Hokage-sama. As she grabbed Ino and turned to leave the rest of the team. With that, the 3-man team moved once again. Guy's team was tasked with creating a distraction, forcing Onki to overlook the back of the hidden stone, giving Naruto's team a chance to enter. There was going to be a Kage battle, but this time it will be in the center of the hidden stone, where Onki will find himself rather impaired. As Naruto heard that small voice in the back of his mind, not the Kyuubi, his conscience telling that he will become a monster. But yet, if it meant protecting his people and saving his village, he would become one. He would slaughter innocents, he would butcher civilians, he would kill defenseless beings, because the Tsuchikage wanted a war. And now, he would annihilate all of them in his path. There can be no revenge from Tsuchikage or the Hidden Stone where not even the children can grow up and hate him, because there will be none. There can be no hatred in the cold ground of death. It took them less than 3 days to get in position, a small cliff overlooking the checkpoints. From there, he pulled a small binocular and started to observe. There was no fire, no gust of winds, nothing. It was quiet, and just the stone shinobis around. For a mere moment, Naruto breaks up. He then noticed Genins. They're using Genins and academy graduates. Kakashi was surprised that Naruto was speaking out loud. There could be Onrus or Jonins around, but yet, if he was speaking out loud, that meant Genins were the only ones going around. You can't be serious, said Kurenai. Not even a Jonin? No, it's worse than that, said Naruto. There are teams of 7 years old, guiding other Genins of a similar age, and not 7-year-old prodigies like Kakashi here. Just kids. One of them are crying because his feet are hurting. There has to be an explanation, a logical one. We didn't do all that damage to their lines. This doesn't make any sense, said Kakashi. Even their village, as his Sharingan came around, seems a tad empty. At most there are 3 Chunin level signatures. Change of plans, said Naruto. We infiltrate. With that, Kurenai was able to take the front, Kakashi to the left, and Naruto to the right. Again, Jutsu cast over them, as they made their way into the depths of the crowd, and they weren't stopped. 3 minutes. That was all it took, and they were in the Tsuchikage's tower. No traps, nothing. It had been so easy it was sickening. Why didn't their spies report this? Had they been killed? This was just too easy. The 3 Chunin stood in the office of Tsuchikage, as he looked at one another, roaring their eyes. We're sitting ducks, I tell you. One of them spoke, with dark brown hair and eyes. And so you think we should just stand up and leave? A second one said, the Tsuchikage gave us an order. We should keep the hidden stone seemingly active. I say this is suicide. Hey, both of you. Shut it, the third one said. We have to obey. Or do you want to end up like the prisoner? As Naruto gave the signal, as the first two was placed under again jutsu as Naruto placed his blade at the throat of the third one. The man seeing Naruto, he screamed as he collapsed. As Naruto blinked in surprise, did he just faint? It seems that way. Well, you have quite the reputation about you, said Kakashi, as Naruto kicked him but he wasn't moving. Kurenai. As Kurenai nodded as Naruto went through the papers on the table. He's ready, said Kurenai, as the man came face to face with Naruto. Shit, she wasn't lying. I'll speak. Please, don't reap my soul. Please, he begged. Fine, said Naruto. I won't reap your soul. The rumors are getting crazy. Well, he was the one that kind of started them on the day. What's going on? This guy gave us an order to grab the Genins and the academy graduates and patrols around the village to make it seem like everything was active and pull off a few transformations every now and then. Why? Said Naruto. We don't know. He just took off with the available Chunins above, except for us 3. So he left you behind and simply got up and left. This was stupid, this was idiotic, this was maddening. Yet it was reasonable if he knew I was coming here, said Naruto, as his eyes widened in shock. The damn bastard knew it. That is why he evacuated the higher-ups and left the small fries. He wanted this to be seen as a slaughter of innocents. That damn wicked bastard. As Naruto turned towards the Chunin, who is a prisoner, it's the Tsuchikage's son-in-law, the Chunin said. Oh? And why is he called that, the prisoner? Because he was in prison for trying to act behind the Kage's back. Obviously, you don't know what he tried to do, correct? Said Naruto. Actually, he tried a prisoner exchange with Konoha, but he was captured before he could complete it. Naruto clenched his fists, and I thought I took care of every spice. Where is he? He's not here. He's in Grass Country Prison, Chunin said. Kakashi, Kurenai, leave the village, said Naruto, as he ripped the head off of the Chunin in front of him with the writing blade. I'm going through with my plan. Naruto, Kakashi said. Obey the order, said Naruto. Meanwhile, with Kisame, wind style, fire style, as the fire and wind was combined from Kisame and Sakura, as it crashed against the enemy platoons. That was formed of 50 shinobis as they fell like flies. My guy was going through the 37 shinobis, but he didn't pause and move back. Shikamaru was confused as Rock Lee stopped as well. Sensei, this makes no sense, said Rock Lee. They are not posing a threat or a challenge against us. They're Genins, said Shikamaru as both Katsumi and Sakura froze. Yush, how unyouthful of Tsuchikage to make us snuff out the flames of such young foes. Shikamaru mumbled something. What was that? Said Katsumi. What? That were a bait and a diversion team for the infiltration team in the Hidden Stone. It's the truth. It was the only reason why we're grouped up here. As Katsumi turned her head as she saw a few more shinobis coming to them, we could probably push all the way towards the Hidden Stone if the enemy remained the same, said Shikamaru, which is stupid. Genins as dollars would be senseless if Tsuchikage bring out reinforcements in Jonin afterwards to catch us by surprise, or try to use this technique to kill us from a distance, but no. It is just Genins. This makes absolutely no sense. As Sakura watched the kids, they were afraid. The only reason why they were still standing here was because they were afraid of running away and being known as a traitor to their village. It was then that the ground cracked. It was spreading from the Hidden Stone. A massive tornado. of blue flames start to rise as all the genins turn back towards your village. The skeleton structure of the Kyuubi stood in the center of the hidden stone, with strange pearly white substance flying into its mouth. Katsumi grabbed her stomach in pain. Guy grabbed her. "We have to move, the plan is in motion," he said, as chakra was being siphoned from everyone's body as they moved. When they stopped running, they covered enough distance to look back. "What was that?" said Rock Lee. "It was my brother. It was him. I felt it," said Katsumi. "The bones that are broken shall not mend my flesh. Feast upon them. Their strength is what is needed. You need it." She kept on ignoring that voice in the back of her head. Usually, it spoke up sometimes, and know that her father was not here to fix the seal. She was just glad that it hadn't broken free. "Why would you feel it?" said Shikamaru. "And why are you in pain?" he asked. "You weren't even harmed during the skirmish." I don't know," she said. It was the truth. She didn't know why her Kyuubi resonated so violently with the other one, but it was there. "The inner is coming for me. You pathetic whelp. If you don't feast and grow stronger, it will be your end. I will not fall. I will claim your life." The fox repeated to her, but she tried to ignore him. Suddenly, two blur of speed came beside them as Sunshin. "Guy, it's us." As Guy was ready to move, as Karen and I looked towards Katsumi. "Are you okay? Were you wounded?" "No, I'm fine, really." Before she puked, as she was puking up blood, "I said devour, grow and consume. Stop forcing my hand, you wretched whelp." Katsumi felt a hand dropped on her head as the voice vanished, as her hair was pushed back. As she looked up, hush. It was Naruto who stood there in front of her. Shikamaru was confused and Hokage seemed pale a moment ago, and his eyes were glowing strangely blue, brighter than usual. And then he touched Katsumi, and he returned back to normal, and Katsumi was puking out so much blood. And then she started to breathe normally as well. The Jonins didn't seem worried about it at all. It was something they knew meant that it was an S-rank secret. Shikamaru sighed. Everything was just so troublesome. "You alright now, Katsumi-chan," said Naruto, as he held onto her, as her face moved up and down. "Good," as she fell asleep in his arms. "The hidden stone is no more. Their supply are in disarray. Probably by tomorrow, I'll have a new nickname in the bingo book." "Hokage-sama, was it planned for there to be only Genins against us?" asked Guy. "No, there should have been Chonins or Jonins even. You should have provided a good enough distraction of a bint or two for me to reach the center of the hidden stone and release 6 taels worth of the Kyuubi." "Sensei, that was 6 taels?" Sakura said. She paled. 6 taels. Destroyed the entire village. What could all 9 do? "Yes, and I fear that I put another limitation on them." "Speak of irony," said Naruto as he coughed slightly, before shaking his head. "Now, let us head back. We can go together. Your mission is finished. And ours too." "Yosh, Hokage-sama. We shall reach Konoha in 1 week. No, 4 days. No, tomorrow, or I will walk across Hokage's monument with my nose," said Lee, as Guy roared about the fire of youth. As Naruto picked up Katsumi bridal style, "We shall move," he said. And just like that they did. That hadn't been a critical point. It had hurt the hidden stone, but still, with most of their forces gone, they were still out there. But it had just marked Naruto Senju as the slaughterer of the hidden stone. It fit him well, even though he didn't see it, he felt it. The lives taken, the lives destroyed, the chakra threads being pulled out of their coils, the scream of pain as their own skin rotted, as their bodies crumbled, the buildings falling down because the irons got rust as they broke down. He had done worse than destroying the hidden stone. He destroyed the very ground around it. The worst part about it all was that he enjoyed it. He smiled deep within himself. Meanwhile, at the hidden rain, "Tobarama, do as I taught you." As the boy went through hand sign, and Gaara cried out in pain. Time skip. It was nighttime in Konoha. A red-haired teenager was sleeping in her favorite place. A pair of hands lifted her up from her father's bed and brought her to her own, carrying eyes slightly open before she nuzzled against him. Naruto Senju had just returned to Konoha in the middle of the night, and he was dead tired. It wasn't just the weight of the actions that he had done, or the repercussions that were gonna follow, or that they rushed back so quickly. No, it was the information that he got from those 3 stone chonins that made it far worse. As he placed Karen in her bed, as recently she has been taking his bed to sleep in, as he gave her a kiss on the forehead. "Father," as Naruto turned. "I still love you, no matter what," she said, as she fell back asleep. As Naruto left the room, as she felt her father aura calm down, as that made her happy. She could help him, not that stall girl. Yet why couldn't he understand that? But she was too tired to think about that. Her father had come home. and now she could rest. Meanwhile, as Naruto entered Yumi's room, as he saw his youngest daughter slept, so what if they weren't tied by blood? And she was more Uchiha than a Senju. She was his daughter. He had changed her diapers and put her to sleep enough time to know that she was his little 6 years old. That shouldn't be torn with kunais, but yet she did it, nevertheless. As he sat there, his mind flashed back to the hidden stone. It happened fast. Was there a Yumi-chan amongst the ruins? Was there a toddler amongst the ruins? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Yet what was it that was making this scene seem rather different? He had destroyed the hidden stone. He had annihilated. Yes, annihilation, that was a word. It meant thousands of last thoughts, cries and pain that ended in a few seconds. Was there someone just like him that could no longer go home, knowing that his beloved daughter, his family, was now gone? As Yumi rolled over in the bed, as she got a more comfortable spot to sleep, she was so much at ease right there and then. Would she be like that in years to come, when she developed the Sharingan, when she ended up on missions outside of Konoha? Would she still sleep peacefully after killing her first man, or woman? Would she still be his little smiling daughter? He didn't want her to suffer. He had to end this war. He had to break the enemy by wiping them out completely, because he had to stop it. He wouldn't let anything happen to her. He would become the worst person in this entire world, just to make sure that she was okay, to prevent her from losing that innocence that she had. Was that the sacrifice his father did for him? As you remember, father never hated you. Katsumi whispered to him. Everyone else had went to sleep while they were going back to Konoha, and she was awake. Katsumi, if this is pictures. Pictures, she said, cutting him off. Behind every single photo of me, there was a photo of you, brother. Behind every painting there was an album of you. Seal away into storage sales. He never hated you. He loved you so much, but he became the sacrifice to let you hate him. He became evil to let you be good. Katsumi, let me finish, he said. I'm not saying that he didn't do things wrong. I'm just saying that he shouldn't be viewed as a monster, because... As Katsumi looked up as she saw his eyes, as your eyes met as she saw the sadness, I knew all along, he said. As he pulled her into a hug, the Hokage is next to the picture, and I saw behind it too, he said. In the flashback still, nothing will change the past. The past was set in stone and it could not be rewritten. As he got back up to leave, but Yumi's hand grabbed his. Did I wake you? Naruto whispered. She yawned as she took his hand and rubbed against her cheek, as she was just so cute. As he quietly removed his hand and placed her back gently down, as she was still asleep, as he left the room in silence. The next morning came, as people started to wake up, and yet Naruto spent a sleepless night, because he was thinking the entire night. He had the power to destroy an entire village. Just a split second and boom, even Konoha could be gone. He could destroy, he could annihilate, and yet he couldn't sleep. There was this frustration coming to him in waves. People were smiling here, while others were crying in pain and agony. Why were people still fighting? Why were they still sharpening their kunais when they just slaughter others, family, friends, loved ones? As he thought about his actions, he murdered weak people who couldn't defend themselves. Was he any different than a bandit who was on the road that robbed you for your money, and if you fought back they killed you? Was history going to remember him as that, a slaughterer, instead of the great man that freed a clan from slavery and brought Konoha to a new age? Or was he going to be the murderer, the wicked one, the... Stop it! As Karen stepped in front of him, tears in her eyes, and she had barged right into his office. Karen, he said, as she held on to him tightly and hugged him in tears. She didn't want him to slip away in this darkness that was swallowing him whole. She didn't want him to vanish. Stop that, stop doing it, she said. You are kind, you're gentle, you help people, without even thinking about it. You help Neji, you love Yumi, you love this tall girl, you have an insane passion for ramen, you're loved by the people. Sasuke and Neji would die for you. The students that you taught come by to speak about your problems to you. They love and trust you. I trust you. We all love and trust you. And no, I don't want to lose it to your thoughts. No, stop it. Please stop it, she said. As Naruto hugged his daughter, making sure not to touch her hair, as that was a sensitive part for her, giving her pats. You can pat my hair, she said. You can ruffle it. You can touch it. You can do as you please, just don't leave me. Please stay, she said. As Naruto held on to her. Her sensory has gotten so powerful that she could kind of seem like she was reading her mind, but she was not. But it was just so powerful. She could predict what you were thinking. As Naruto smiled. We're going to be late for breakfast, Appa-chan, he said. She smiled back. I'll be fine as long as you're fine, she said. It was a dark blue, but at least its aura was no longer pitch black. But she had to make it blue once again. Changing from this dark blue. Yes, she has to change it. She has to make sure it go back to the aura that it once was. Do I get ramen for lunch? He teased her. She wiped her tears. Only if you get a vegetable one, she said. As she then turned to leave. Last one in the kitchen is a slug, she said, as she ran off. After a moment, Naruto came in with Yume, hanging off his right arm. You knew that she was going to intercept me, said Naruto with a laugh. As Yume giggled. Obviously, said Karen, as she turned to Junko, who just finished breakfast. Junko-san, we'll be going out for lunch today, the red-haired girl said. Alright, do I still need to prepare the bento for Yumi-chan? As she was smiled at the heartwarming scene. Nope, if Yumi-chan go to school to the age, she will get ramen lunch with us. Then I get to skip the afternoon, said Yumi. I did not say that, said Naruto. Big sister, say something, as Karen merely laughed. After breakfast, Karen waved goodbye. She headed towards the hospital. Yumi pouted as she went towards school. As Naruto made his way, he would catch a nap later on. First, he had to pass by the ramen stall. As he arrived, he saw Aion, as she had a ladle. So everything was fine, and yet you were brooding this morning. As she had a too sweet smile on her face. Can't speak about it. Hokage's secret, said Naruto. I suppose Karen passed by here. Yes. And she said, I quote, don't let him eat ramen this morning, and I might start considering you as a female friend material. Since it has stepped up from stall girl, I think I'll take my chances and don't give you any ramen. You cruel woman, said Naruto. You wound me so much, think I might die. Well, there's a cure for that, Aion says. She leaned over the counter. And it's the best cure there is. And what with that? He was cut off as she kissed him right on the lips, as she pulled apart. I feel cheated, said Naruto. I expected that kiss and ramen together to be the best medicine. Her eyes started to twitch. Well, your cure was the best, he said. That made her smile as he gave her a quick kiss, as he made his way off to the office. As he arrived, dog. Yes, Hokage-sama. Bring me 5 pork ramen and 2 beef ramen from Ichirok Ramen. Do it, without being seen, but leave the money on the counter. It's a B rank. Yes, Hokage-sama. Don't tell me that you just bully an Anfu. If they get new ramen, Itachi says they appear from the corner in a flock of crows. And don't tell me you just pull a Danzo trick on me, Itachi said Naruto. So, did everything went fine while I wasn't here? Yes, but as Naruto's smile vanished, there's something strange going on with our borders. We lost contact with the hidden rain patrols. Only that, said Naruto. Itachi nodded. Well then, I need to have the grass ambassador in my office. Someone tried a hostage exchange without contacting me. Itachi raised a puzzled eyebrow as he nodded. Itachi, I always gave 2 strikes to people before backing them out. If it's her. Naruto, if it's her. I'll kill her myself, Itachi said. Thank you. I know I can trust you, said Naruto. It was like that Itachi winced. But his back was turned to Naruto, so he was pretty sure that he missed a subtle gesture. Flashback to what happened in the hidden rain. The battle. Jinten. Zabuza's eyes widened as an entire division was vaporized to dust. The technique of Tsuchikage had turned the morale of the battle down for the rain ninjas. Old man! As Deidara shouted as he dropped a couple white birds from the heavens. Strangely, many of the stone ninjas crumbled to dirt. Only a few of them actually lost limbs. Those are rock clones, a lot of them too. Scatter and use water, Zabuza shouted, as the water came together and created a massive wave. As Zabuza rushed forward with his blade, as he teared through shinobis after shinobis. It was a good day to fight and die. At least Haku was safe. Down underground, the water turned crimson with the blood of the people. As Onki was in mid-air as he glanced towards Deidara, who was flying on top of his bird. You interrupted poker afternoon. You old baboon, said Deidara. Deidara, there is nothing more than a master hate than to see his pupil fall so far. Do you really think I wouldn't come to cleanse this den of scums and missing ends? As Onki's right hand covered itself with rocks. Don't give me your crap, you're here because we're a nuisance to your plans. Not because you're some righteous man, because we both know that it's false. I hope you don't strain your back too much fighting, old man. As Deidara pushes Claybird forward, only to be met with that rock punch to the face. In that moment, Deidara exploded with a bird, but Onki poofed away, revealed to be a rock clone. Meanwhile, Deidara was falling as he released several sparrows that went towards a cloud in the air. Over to the side, it exploded, revealing Onki in a rock armor. As Onki was preparing another Jinten, as he landed on his bird that brought him straight up in the sky and fled away from the attack. You miss me, old baboon. Stand still, you youngster, as Deidara simply fall right towards the sand line. Tremble, be afraid, recoil in despair, crumble and cry your heart out because my heart is an explosion. The next second, two things happen as Onki had to move, switch to the clone, as the clone was assaulted by strange white mosquitoes that exploded. The second was Deidara jumped off the bird and his body started to swell as he dropped, exploded. His body released a massive explosion that wiped all the clouds out of the sky. The sand division that had stood back from the battle had been decimated, more precisely the medics and the deep command, as Onki landed behind his army. Deidara was smart to distract him and deal a crippling force to his allies. He chose suicide. Commendable. But Onki knew that wasn't the last time he would see Deidara. He had took some of the hits from these small mosquitoes. Get me patched up quickly, he said, as Kabuto came over. Meanwhile, on the front line, an army of puppets were battling each other. Grandmother, said Sasori. Nephew, I only came to fight you, she said, as she released a scroll as 10 puppets emerged. Fight, always fighting. This is what brought the sand to his knees, and yet you don't see it. As a set of chakra strings came from Urko, is armored puppet. Let me show you, grandmother, technique I use to annihilate a country. Strangely, there was passion in his voice as he said his jutsu name. Sasori, you seem different. What happened to you? A cascade happened, said Sasori as the battle raged between them. Chiyo did not flinch as she moved her puppets her own and took on the onslaught. As Chiyo puppets moved forward and released an onslaught of explosions that forced Sasori to reveal himself by leaping out of his protection. Deidara would be proud. Don't tell him that to mix both arts. He would keep on boasting about it, said Sasori. Chiyo only had one puppet left after the battle, as she sent it forward but the fist was blocked by an iron wall. As she saw him, he hadn't aged a single day. The third Tsuchikage disappeared as well, and now there it was. He was a puppet of Sasori. This is my old self, desire for perfection, and yet, back then, I failed to understand my path. She was confused. What are you talking about, Sasori? I am fighting for a future where puppets can be built without being used for war, said Sasori. For one where no children is left alone, without toys that are devoid of love. For that future, I will stand. My stand's here, he said. Grandmother, please forgive me. And with that, the iron sand rose and started to become a tsunami mixed with normal sand. It rushed forward as Chiyo placed number 1 in front of her, but the sand started to bypass the puppet as her arm turned into a puppet, a shield to protect herself. As Chiyo started to think deeply about his words. Sasori, let me ask you a question. Sand came back to him. If you could turn back time, what would you change? He did not hesitate. Myself. I did so many wrongs, and I never fixed them all. Thank you, Sasori. That was all I wanted to know, she said as her hand burst from underneath the sand that she had let forward, while in the hailstorm, as 2 puppets crashed into Sasori from the side, holding him still. I came here to die, to take you with me, said Chiyo. I thought I would meet my stupid nephew, watching him kill sand ninjas because of some idiotic plan of world domination, because of his hatred and his anger. But you are different. You want something. And the way you speak about it, you are correct. I am sorry. I shouldn't leave you alone, wooden toy, she said. Kisho Tensei, she said, as she activated her jutsu. As Sasori screamed, the tail that he had, it detached itself, the cable removing, as a spine grew in place. The secret weapons, the wooden arms, all the things for mass destruction left him. Flesh, bones, muscles replaced them. His organs returned and his body shook as Sasori felt his heart beat. His hair actually grew instead of being a design. As Sasori, he was alive. No longer a puppet. As Chiyo had brought him back at the cost of her life, as he saw her lying there, dead. Something dripped on his arm. Water. From his eyes. Meanwhile, with Kisame coming, must really hate him for some reason. Here he was standing with Samehata in hand, and there was that fat blob across from him. And they put the 3 tails in you. What did you do? Eat it? Hey, that's not nice, Akisaki said. Akisaki was proud when Tsuchikage made him the 3 tails stand by Jinchuriki, and this sharp man was trying to offend him. Aisabi was offended as well, his right hand encrusted in a mixture of earth and coils. Wait a second, you know his name? Kisame was shocked at this. man managed to learn how to control and harness the power of the Biju in such short amount of time. As the man punched his fist into the ground, as rocks and coils start to move towards Kisame. As Kisame swing his blade and break. Well, he couldn't exactly break through the coils at ease as he moved back. Damn, Kisame cursed. Those coils were something else, they were incredibly sturdy. As Akisaki sent more coils towards him that would impale him from all sides, Kisame released a jet of water from his mouth that propelled him upwards. As a dome of earth and coils tried to trap him, but they failed to do so, as he shot himself up in the air. "You're not getting away," Akisaki says. He launched himself towards Dome and started to run up. Kisame landed on Dome as he brought his blade back, but he found himself unable to move. The moment he stepped on the coil, it covered his feet. As coil came in front of him to block him, and Akisaki came towards his left, and he couldn't swing his blade because a coil wall came up to block his blade from swinging around. A water clone of Kisame appeared behind Akisaki and released a massive jet of stream, which Akisaki blocked with the coils. Kisame used Samehata to siphon all the chakra around him, freeing himself. Kisame released a jet stream of water from his mouth. It seemed unending as he jumped on top of the wave as he rode straight into the Italy Stone forces. Those that tried to go underneath, sharks ripped them apart. As the ranged shinobis merged the water, as they were efficient in water ninjutsu as well. As Zabuza jumped on top of the wave, just like old times, said Zabuza, as he beheaded a stone shinobi. The demon and the monster of the mist. "You recall that mission to March?" said Kisame. "How could I forget it? We scared the crap out of them all." Hidden mist jutsu. As the mist came up, a hidden tsunami was cleaving through the army. A group of stone ninjas brought up a massive cluster that stopped the water. But as the mist swallowed them whole, the two demons leaped and started to slaughter one after another as Oniki was raising back up in the sky. As Akisaki was running over on a giant rock golem. The thing's fists were as big as a house. The thing leaped as Kisame blinked as the thing came crashing down. Zabuza leaped into the mist. He was a demon, not an idiot. Kisame had barely managed to jump to the side using Samehata as a makeshift shield, as Zabuza had seen the sharp man survive the blow. On the other hand, Gaara was watching the useless attempt of Kankuro and a few other Sand Shinobis trying to get past his defense. Maybe one day, years before their attacks, would have caught him by surprise. But not today. But Gaara didn't realize that something was wrong. It was too easy. As he lowered himself on the ground, to hear Kankuro's speech of hate, and to hear all about how he hated Bijus. But wooden spears shot up from the earth and captured him. He was shocked. The wood wasn't normal wood, as his sand started to fall. As Gaara sent a sand wave to crash into the wood, but it broke, but it did not destroy, and it regenerated within seconds. We got him trapped. Now let's bring this demon close to his den, so we can hear the screams of when Oniki destroyed the hidden rain. Gaara's eyes widened. Destruction? There wasn't a reason to do that. Gaara started to beat against the wood. "We need your blood." A voice popped up in his head. "No, I'm done with you," said Gaara. "You misunderstand as always." "I do not. You are mad. Pushing me to seek out blood." "No more," Gaara said. "You would have done the same, trapped in a body that isn't yours, to be kept away like some kind of toy to be used whenever you want my chakra. You would have tried to escape. You're trying to do the same thing right now. That is why I'm speaking to you once again. You feel powerless. You feel weak. You're trapped. You're unable to do anything." "I don't trust you," said Gaara. "You don't need to. You just need to accept my full power and break free. But you will need your blood." "What are you talking about?" "Soul and flesh. Feast upon them for greatness. You have my soul, my power. Their blood make you stronger. I never lied about that. You just never understood. I still need to get out of here, however." "Tobirama," a voice said, caught Gaara off surprise. It was the voice of an elderly man that was clear. "Do what I taught you." As Tobirama went through handstand and activated his jutsu. As Gaara didn't know what was going on when he heard the child's voice. As he heard the child spoke up about wood style. Gaara felt something painful as he was hit right in the chest by branches. As they started to stab into his body, he felt his chakra being sapped away as he screamed out in pain. Meanwhile, with Orochimaru, the new body felt good. It was easy to walk around, flexible. despite those lumps in the chest. It wasn't really a problem. Furthermore, with the Byakugan, a lot was in his reach. The only thing was strange was a light jingle that Orochimaru was hearing at the back of his head. I guess the snake got captured by Hinata-chan. Orochimaru was confused. Yes. You wanna know the fun thing? Orochimaru was shocked that was his voice. Why was he saying that? He hasn't even realized it yet, the voice said. It was his voice. He tried to scream and shout, but he could not. He was trapped. But how? How was it even possible? It seems he just realized. Well then, Teiwaya-chan, said Hinata, let us go. Yes, Hinata-chan, said Teiwaya, only for her to be grabbed by the chest. It's Hinata-sama. I'm your master, and you're my pet, understood? Yes, Hinata-sama, said Teiwaya. A quick camouflage, and you look like it was Orochimaru walking around. Sound 4, you have a mission. Teiwaya excluded. Go to Konoha and kidnap Yumi Senju and bring her here alive. And do not fail me. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. As Orochimaru walked out with Teiwaya after getting a few things. No one dared to say anything or stop him because it was Orochimaru. What could they say or do? Once they were a good distance away, she grabbed the skin and ripped it off, showing her feminine features underneath. And with this, the sound will be no more very soon. Where are we going, Hinata-sama? Asked Teiwaya. The north of the sound. There's a friend here that can help me with my revenge. Against that man, said Teiwaya. Yes, now let us make haste. If you can keep up, I'll give you a prize when we stop the rest. As Teiwaya nodded. She no longer needed her for much, just some company, but at least she was fun to keep around. Time skip. The girl was broken in Konoha cells. Well, it has been 3 years. Under her uncle, the girl was broken. She didn't feel like doing much to the girl. After 3 years has been getting quite boring. There wasn't much to try, the girl was broken completely. The only order was leave her face in one piece, nothing more. Probably to make her face more recognizable. Yet after 3 years, not a single request for a hostage exchange. And now, Naruto, the 5th Hokage, was in the same cell as the meat bag. He was watching quietly. That unnerved her because she never wanted to show this side of her to him. The side where she brought up all of her hatred, her anger, her rage. It was wicked, it was evil. As Uncle pulled her kunai, your hero's grown again, melted toy, she said. We need to cut it. She had to fake pampering the girl for a while. Because if she just went straight into the torture, she would just clamp her up and not say a single thing. As Naruto spoke before Uncle could do anything. Why was she brought outside? A year and a half ago. Uncle blinked as she remembered that day. Well, she had clamped up really bad. She wanted to try suicide. So I brought her out, faking her release. Before, 5 minutes later, she was back in here screaming her lungs out. It's easy, give hope, then take it away. Only that, no outside influences, Naruto asked. No, why, she said. Just ask him. As he moved forward and kneel in front of Kurosaki. Q-chan, he said. As the ghostly head of the Kyuubi emerged from Naruto's stomach and beat the girl on her neck. As 9 markings came on her neck. The pattern before it vanished into her skin. And another mirror was there. Good, said Naruto. Oh, Hokage-sama, Uncle said. Can you keep a secret, Uncle? He whispered. Yes, Hokage-sama. She would never ever try to break his heart ever again. I hope so. I'll leave her to you, said Naruto. As Naruto made his way, as he was going towards Ichiraku Ramen, the hospital had been rebuilt right beside Ichiraku Ramen. So if he wasn't careful, he would run into Father. Where do you think you're going, said Karen. Along the road, said Naruto. It wasn't a lie, he was going along the road to Ichiraku Ramen, going to see Team Ayu, as that was the most common name towards the team. Otherwise, Neji and Sasuke would fight on whose name came first. Oh, they're back today, said Naruto. So, are you on a lunch break, he asked. Obviously, she said. I was just about to go to Sakura-chan, and we were going to go to the gates to see which one of them would run back first. I bet on Tenten, said Naruto. As Sakura came out of the hospital. Karen-chan, we have to get back in 1 hour, so we have to... Oh, Hokage-sama, said Sakura. As Naruto pouted. No, Naruto-sensei. I feel wounded, he said, holding on to his chest. Karen grabbed his arm. You're not gonna get any ramen on my watch, she said. The clone trick won't work again. Clone trick? What is it? Sakura asked, her eyes lit up. Oh, it's nothing special, said Naruto. It's a basic slip-up movement, keeping the target focused while the other move around, and as Naruto appeared on Karen's left side, as he had an empty bowl of ramen in his hand. Ayam-chan sends a regard by the way he says he dumped the bowl into the hospital bin. Father? As Karen clenched her fists. No one or nothing keep me away from ramen, said Naruto. One day, you're gonna have a heart attack, she said. And that day, I'll have you tied to the bed in the hospital and hold you there for the remainder of the day. Keep dreaming, Apple-chan, he said. So, as they arrive at the gate, you sure they're gonna arrive by here? Yes. And I have to get back to look at the mysterious patient chart. Huh? Said Naruto. That old hag has been doing some blood samples. I don't know what about, but I'm gonna find out, said Karen. After she tricked you. I'll never, ever let anyone trick you again. As she hugged Naruto. As Naruto patted her head. Okay, he said. You can let go now. You will never find a boyfriend if you keep on being a daddy, little girl. As she punched him right in the armor. And what's wrong with that, she said. I was screaming to the entire village. I love Sensei. As she was cut off. As Karen blushed as she realized what she was about to do. As they were all rushing towards the gate, Ulfer attempted to throw a chain. As it looped around the gate and grabbed all three of them and yanked them backwards. As she ran forward. Hokage-sama, I'm sorry for all these idiots. As she bowed politely. As Sasuke arrived, Sensei, is my brother here? I need to ask him something. No, I sent him out to Grass Country on diplomatic mission. Something you need to ask? Well, it's just that White Eyes wasn't looking where he was going to Sasuke as he glared towards Neji, and he ignited a set of explosive tags. The next thing I saw after the explosion at the ass had place, a substitution with a Sanjin, but I didn't realize until it was over. So I kind of went on a murderous rampage. Cause I was pissed off I couldn't beat him down to the ground anymore, said Sasuke as he glared at Neji. Anyway, after I thought he was blown to pieces, my eyes turned like this. As Sasuke's Sharingan switched into something else, the Mangekyo. I don't remember if you remember what your mother said back in the hospital all those years ago, but that's the Mangekyo Sharingan. But you are hereby forbidden from ever using it, understand me? As Naruto's tone was stern. Sensei, it enables you to use powerful techniques like the Amaterasu, a fire that cannot be stopped, the Tsukyome, ultimate genjutsu, but it robs you of your side, Sasuke. So, nothing else but dire situation once you use those eyes. But Itachi, your brother had to transplant 3 Pierce the Sharingan eyes, Sasuke. And that was because Danzo stole them during the slaughter. So whatever happens, don't use them, please. Oh, I promise, Naruto-sensei. So, how did they activate? Oh, it's when you, as Naruto smiled, see a loved one die in front of you, or best friend. Well, seems like you were right about his preference, Neji, said Naruto. That's not true. Sakura-chan is as he froze. He bit his tongue as Sakura blushed. I called it, said Ino. Just another day in the village. Peaceful and kind. But how long will it last? But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications if posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him, and enjoy that, guys. And also a brand new episode of What If Naruto's a Hope of the Uchiha clan, and enjoy that, guys. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.